Welcome to the ultimate showdown, a night where legends will be born. Only one team can lift this golden prize. Who will take it home tonight? Woohoo! Yes!
This is incredible!
Did The Simpsons already predict the 2026 World Cup final? The 2026 World Cup hasn't even started yet. The teams haven't completed their journeys. The knockout bracket doesn't exist, and nobody knows who will be standing on football's biggest stage when the final whistle blows. But according to a growing theory online, the answer may have been hiding in a Simpsons episode for years. And the deeper fans looked, the stranger things became. Because what started as a random observation turned into one of the most bizarre World Cup theories on the internet. And by the end of this video, you'll have to decide for yourself whether this is just an incredible coincidence or something much harder to explain. If you've spent any time on the internet, you've probably seen people claim that The Simpsons can predict the future. Every few months, another screenshot starts spreading online. A clip resurfaces. A joke suddenly resembles a real event. And millions of people start asking the same question. How did they know? Now, most of these so-called predictions have perfectly reasonable explanations. The show has been running for decades. It has produced hundreds of episodes, thousands of jokes, tens of thousands of scenes. When a show creates that much content, some coincidences are bound to happen. But every once in a while, a theory comes along that's difficult to ignore. And recently, football fans discovered one that may be the most fascinating yet. Because according to some viewers, The Simpsons may have accidentally revealed clues about the 2026 World Cup final. Not directly, not obviously, but hidden inside a collection of moments that, when connected together, create a picture that has fans all over the world debating the same thing. Did they somehow see this coming? Or are people seeing patterns where none actually exist? Before we can answer that, we need to understand why so many people take Simpsons predictions seriously in the first place. Why people keep falling for Simpsons predictions. The Simpsons first aired in 1989. Back then, nobody imagined it would become one of the longest-running television shows in history. Decades later, it has become something else entirely, an internet phenomenon. And a large reason for that is the show's strange reputation for predicting future events. Now, here's the thing. Most writers aren't trying to predict the future, they're doing something much simpler. They're observing trends, they're exaggerating possibilities, and they're making jokes about where the world might be heading. Sometimes those jokes end up looking surprisingly accurate years later. That's usually enough to spark endless online discussions. And every time it happens, the legend grows. People begin searching through old episodes, looking for hidden clues, looking for moments that resemble reality, looking for anything that feels impossible. Eventually, entire communities formed around this idea. Forums, videos, social media accounts, dedicated fans examining episodes frame by frame, searching for the next big prediction. And that's exactly how this World Cup theory began. Not because someone set out to predict football, but because someone noticed something unusual, something that seemed too specific to ignore. The story didn't begin with a major headline. There wasn't a huge announcement, no viral news report. In fact, the original observation was surprisingly small. A few fans were revisiting older Simpsons episodes, looking for sports references, football jokes, background details, the kinds of things most viewers would never pay attention to, and then someone spotted a scene. At first glance, it looked completely ordinary. Just another quick moment inside a show filled with thousands of quick moments. But after looking closer, people started noticing details that felt oddly familiar. Colors, crowd arrangements, visual patterns, tiny pieces that seemed strangely connected to international football. On their own, none of them meant much, but together, They started forming a theory. And once that theory appeared online, thousands of football fans began investigating it themselves. That's when things really got interesting. The internet takes over. The internet has a unique ability: give people a mystery, and they'll spend countless hours trying to solve it. That's exactly what happened here. Fans began comparing screenshots, sharing observations, building timelines, creating side-by-side comparisons. Some people focused on team colors, others examined stadium designs, others searched for symbolic references hidden in the background. Every week, new interpretations appeared. Some were convincing, some were completely ridiculous. But the theory kept growing, and the more people talked about it, the more attention it received. Soon, football communities were discussing it. Simpsons fans were discussing it. Even people who didn't normally care about either subject started paying attention. Because everyone loves a mystery, especially one involving the world's biggest sporting event. And then, someone discovered a clue that completely changed the conversation. The first major clue. Up until this point, most people viewed the theory as harmless fun. Interesting? Maybe, but far from convincing. Then one particular detail started appearing everywhere. A detail hidden so briefly that many viewers missed it entirely. Yet once fans pointed it out, people couldn't stop talking about it. Because unlike the earlier clues, this one seemed unusually specific. Specific enough to make some fans believe they were looking at more than a coincidence. Suddenly, the conversation changed. No longer asking whether there was a prediction, but asking who the prediction was pointing toward. And according to the most popular interpretation, one football powerhouse kept appearing at the center of the theory. A team expected to make a deep run in 2026. A team millions believe has a real chance of reaching the final. But here's where things become even stranger. Because just when fans thought they'd found the answer, another clue appeared. And it pointed somewhere completely different. By now, thousands of fans had gone down the same rabbit hole. A few strange details from an old Simpsons episode had evolved into a full-blown World Cup theory. Most people still weren't convinced. But one discovery changed everything. Because for the first time, fans thought they had found a clue that pointed toward an actual team. And that's when the debate exploded. The clue. Everyone started talking about the clue itself wasn't obvious. It wasn't front and center. In fact, if you blinked, you could easily miss it. But internet detectives have a talent for spotting things most viewers never notice. When screenshots of the scene began circulating online, fans immediately focused on a combination of visual details. Not one thing, several things. The colors, the positioning, the symbolism. Individually, none of these details seemed important. Together, they created a theory that felt surprisingly specific. Soon, football communities began comparing those visuals with national teams expected to compete in 2026. And one country kept appearing in those discussions. Again, and again, and again. Not because the episode mentioned them by name, but because fans believed multiple clues seemed to align in their direction. Was it evidence? Not exactly, but it was enough to make people pay attention. And once people start paying attention online, theories have a way of growing very quickly. Why the theory felt plausible. Part of what made the theory spread wasn't the clue itself, it was the timing. The team many fans focused on wasn't some random underdog. It was already considered one of the strongest contenders heading into 2026. A nation with elite players, a history of deep tournament runs, and a realistic path to the latter stages of the competition. That mattered. Because if the clue had pointed toward an unlikely team, most people would have ignored it. But because it appeared connected to a genuine contender, the theory suddenly felt possible. And that's where the internet's favorite word entered the conversation: coincidence. Some viewers believed everything could be explained by coincidence. Others argued there were simply too many similarities. The discussion became more intense with every passing week. And then another discovery appeared. One that complicated everything. The problem with the theory. At first, supporters of the theory thought they were getting closer to an answer, but instead, they uncovered a problem, a big one, because another group of fans looked at the same episode and reached a completely different conclusion. They examined the same scenes, the same details, the same visual clues. Yet somehow they ended up identifying a different team entirely. Suddenly, there were two competing interpretations, two possible finalists, two explanations, and both sides believed they were right. The internet did what it always does. Arguments started. Threads grew longer. Videos appeared. Everyone was trying to prove their version of the mystery. But neither side could fully explain one critical detail, a detail hidden in plain sight, a detail that would soon force both theories to change. As more people analyzed the episode, something unexpected happened. The focus shifted away from individual clues. Instead, fans started looking at the bigger picture. What if nobody was interpreting the evidence correctly? What if the clues weren't meant to point toward a single team? What if they were pointing towards something else entirely? That idea changed everything. Because once viewers stepped back and examined all the pieces together, a new pattern began to emerge. A pattern that hadn't been obvious before. And strangely enough, it seemed to explain why both theories contained elements that felt convincing. The mystery wasn't getting simpler, it was getting much more complicated. Then came the discovery that pushed the theory to a completely different level. A connection so unexpected that even skeptics had to admit it was interesting. Because instead of pointing toward one finalist, or even two finalists, some fans now believe the episode might be hinting at the entire path to the final itself. And if that interpretation was correct, the implications were enormous. Not just for one match, not just for one team, but for the entire tournament. The question was no longer, who reaches the final? The question became, could this episode have accidentally mapped out the road to get there? Recap and escalation. At first, fans thought they were looking for a single prediction. One team, one clue, one answer. But the deeper they investigated, the stranger the mystery became. Because what if the episode wasn't pointing toward a specific finalist at all? What if it was hinting at something much bigger? That's the question that sent football fans even deeper into the rabbit hole. And what they discovered next changed the entire conversation. The theory evolves. The biggest turning point came when fans stopped analyzing individual moments and started examining how the clues connected to each other. Suddenly, details that seemed random began forming patterns. Not obvious patterns, not perfect patterns, but enough to make people wonder. Supporters of the theory argued that the episode appeared to contain multiple references that could be interpreted as stages of a tournament. Early rounds, elimination matches, championship imagery, progression, movement, advancement. Again, none of this proved anything. But the more connections people found, the more difficult it became to dismiss the theory outright. Because one coincidence is easy to ignore. Two coincidences raise eyebrows. Three coincidences start conversations. And by this point, fans believed they had found far more than that. The mystery was no longer about a single prediction. It was becoming a story. A story with multiple pieces that appeared to fit together. The moment that shocked believers. Then came the discovery that believers still talk about today. A detail hidden so subtly that many viewers had overlooked it completely. When one fan shared their observation online, reactions poured in almost immediately. Some called it ridiculous. Others called it the strongest evidence yet. Because, unlike previous clues, this one appeared connected to the structure of the tournament itself. Not a team, not a player, not a nation. The tournament. And that's what made it so intriguing. If the interpretation was correct, it suggested something far more ambitious than simply predicting a finalist. It suggested a sequence, a chain of events, a path. Of course, critics quickly pointed out a problem. When people search hard enough, they can find patterns almost anywhere. Human brains are naturally wired to connect dots, even when those dots aren't truly connected. It's a fair criticism. But then something happened that made the debate even harder to settle. The internet divides into two camps. As the theory spread, two camps emerged: the believers and the skeptics. The believers argued that there were simply too many similarities to ignore, too many strange overlaps, too many moments that felt oddly relevant to a tournament that hadn't happened yet. The skeptics disagreed completely. They argued that fans were working backward, starting with a conclusion, the end searching for evidence to support it, and honestly, both sides had valid points. Because that's what makes theories like this so fascinating. They're rarely clear-cut. The evidence never feels definitive. Yet somehow the mystery keeps pulling people back in. Every clue raises new questions. Every answer creates another puzzle. And just when it seemed the debate had reached its peak, a completely unexpected discovery changed everything again. For weeks, fans had been focused on one specific interpretation, one possible outcome, one likely final. But then, a different group of viewers noticed something nobody else had been talking about. Not because it was hidden, because everyone had assumed it meant something else. Once re-examined, the clue suddenly pointed in a completely different direction, and that changed the theory overnight. Instead of supporting one predicted final, it appeared to support another, a matchup almost nobody had considered at the beginning. The internet exploded. Again, new videos appeared, new discussions started, new predictions emerged, and suddenly the mystery felt more alive than ever. Not because anyone had found proof, but because the story kept evolving. Every answer seemed to generate two new questions. And then fans noticed something that may have been the strangest coincidence of all. Up until this point, every clue had been open to interpretation. Every theory contained uncertainty. Every prediction contained doubt. But the next discovery was different. Because it wasn't about colors, it wasn't about symbols, and it wasn't about hidden background details. It involved something much more difficult to explain away. A connection between the episode and modern football that many fans believe shouldn't exist at all. A connection that transformed a fun internet mystery into a genuine, wait a second, yeah, moment. And if that connection means what believers think it means, The Simpsons may have gotten closer to the 2026 World Cup final than anyone ever imagined. By now, the theory had gone much further than anyone expected. What started as a curious observation had become a full-scale internet investigation. Thousands of comments, hundreds of discussions, countless interpretations, and yet one question remained unanswered. Was there actually anything here? Or were fans simply connecting random dots? That's when supporters of the theory pointed to what they believed was their strongest argument. Not a single clue, not a single screenshot, but the accumulation of everything that came before. Because according to believers, the mystery wasn't about one coincidence. It was about many coincidences appearing in the same place. And that's what made them pause. Think about it. Any single clue can be dismissed. A color means nothing. A symbol means nothing. A visual similarity means nothing. On their own, they're easy to explain away. But theories become powerful when multiple pieces appear to support the same story. That's exactly why this discussion refuses to disappear. Supporters argue that while none of the clues prove anything individually, together they create a pattern that feels difficult to ignore. Skeptics disagree. They point out that millions of people are actively searching for patterns. And when enough people search long enough, patterns inevitably emerge. And the truth? Both sides make compelling arguments, which is why this mystery continues to divide football fans around the world. But here's where things become really interesting, because regardless of whether the prediction is real, the theory itself reveals something fascinating about human nature. Why we love these stories. People love mysteries, especially mysteries that feel just believable enough to be possible. We want to discover hidden messages. We want to find secret connections. We enjoy feeling like we've uncovered something most people missed. And that's exactly why theories involving The Simpsons spread so quickly. They're fun, they're intriguing, and most importantly, they invite participation. Every viewer becomes a detective. Every screenshot becomes evidence. Every detail becomes a clue. Whether the theory is right or wrong almost becomes secondary. The real attraction is the investigation itself. The journey, the debate, the possibility. And nowhere is that more true than in football. Because football has always been a sport built on stories. Underdogs, miracles, unexpected heroes, and impossible moments. Which leads us back to the question that started everything. So, Did The Simpsons actually predict the 2026 World Cup final? The honest answer is simple. Nobody knows. There is no confirmed prediction, no official statement, no hidden script revealing the future. What exists instead is a collection of observations that fans have assembled into a fascinating theory. Some viewers will find it convincing, others won't, and that's perfectly okay. Because football has a habit of surprising everyone. No matter how carefully we analyze the clues, no matter how many predictions we make, the game always finds a way to shock us. And that's exactly why the World Cup captures the imagination of billions. Anything can happen. In fact, the biggest twist might not be hidden inside a Simpsons episode at all. The biggest twist could be waiting on the pitch. History tells us that every World Cup produces moments nobody saw coming. Favorites fall, unknown stars emerge, predictions collapse, and new legends are born. That's what makes the tournament special. Not certainty, uncertainty. The future remains unwritten, and no television show, analyst, statistician, or internet theory can fully capture the chaos that makes football beautiful. Which means that when the 2026 tournament finally arrives, everything changes. The theories stop, the speculation ends, and reality takes over. But until that first whistle blows, the mystery remains. Maybe these clues are nothing more than an incredible coincidence. Maybe fans have connected dots that were never meant to be connected. Or maybe, just maybe, there's something here that we're only beginning to understand. One thing is certain, when the 2026 World Cup final finally happens, millions of people will be watching. And somewhere, someone will be comparing that match to an old Simpsons episode. Looking for proof, looking for answers, looking for the moment when fiction and reality collide once again. So what do you think? Did The Simpsons accidentally reveal the future? Or is this one of the internet's greatest football coincidences? Let us know in the comments. And if a future finalist matches one of these theories, remember where you heard about it first?